So real quick, these are the wrong kind of ferns. This is kind of what they look like as they're growing. This is last year's fronds. I think these are the male. And what we're after are ostrich fern, which I don't have any fronds out here because we probably ran them over. But here is an ostrich fern fiddlehead. And you can identify them. Snap these off. There's a deep groove right here. They have this little papery covering that comes off kind of easy. That's a fiddlehead. Ostrich fern, you don't want them, they get a whole lot bigger than this. You can't really eat them. Like here's some that are, that one's pretty well gone, it's unfurled. These are small, they're young plants. They're spreading out, but Shannon found these in the road and you just snap them off. This one here is good. They're delicious. And you don't want to take them all. That one's snapped off, so I'm just going to take it. And then there's 3 or 4, oh, that's a nice big one. 3 or 4 left. We won't take any more, and it's broke off. We'll call that good. And again, those are because I ran them over. You never want to take more than half. There's some here by my foot that are extra teeny. I don't even think I'm going to bother with those. You can see them.
Here, there.
Yeah, see, she's found the crowns. There's the whole crown. And this is what the ostrich fern leaves. This is the male frond. And that's what you look for. You'll see it sticking up like this. They like wet areas. We're down here with some ramps. It's swampy. There's water. So I'm going to go through here, and they're scattered about. There's a bunch of different kinds of ferns. You want to make sure, like these here, this is an ostrich fern. They look alike. I look close, like, yeah, that's it. Well, then you get over here and see the actual fern. It's not an ostrich fern. These are, I don't know what kind they are, but they're not edible. And they'll be intermixed in here, so you want to pay close attention. They need to have, like I said earlier, there's that deep groove, the papery covering that comes off of them, and it's not on the stem. The stems are not covered, because some of them, like here's some other fiddleheads. See, they got like black stuff on them. There'll be some with white little fuzzies. It's not what you want. Smooth stem. Yeah, see, here's a bunch. These are the bad guys going on here. But over there mixed in are some of the good guys. Ostrich ferns. So there's some beauties that are kind of tall, but I still think I can get them. So we're going to pick some. Approaching another patch of fiddleheads. Hopefully you can see the ostrich ferns are already up, which these are pretty well too far gone, but I expect in between I'll find some that are good to go. So you can see though, this is ostrich fern as they start to open. And then they start out, keep ripping my bag here, they start out like this, and then they'll open up. That's kind of mid-stage really. They start out like this, there's a little crown in the ground, and then they unfurl like that slowly, like this, and then they end up like that and open up huge. We'll see more in the summer. So the tedious part of fiddleheads, cleaning the papery covering off. I'm going to try and do this for you one-handed here. Best to do this as soon as possible after you pick them. These we picked yesterday afternoon, so it's been a day. That makes it a little rougher. Plus I had them in the fridge to keep them from wilting or anything, and so they get a little moist. When they get moist, this paper doesn't want to come off. But as you can see, there's this papery covering all over it. Sorry about that, got a little close. And another thing is I pinch the end off, like make a fresh cut. And you won't get every little scrap, but that's why we wash them as well, one of the several reasons. But yeah, so you got this your fiddlehead here with the papery stuff, and when it's dry it comes off quite a bit easier than this. There are easier ways to do this. People use fans, and you put essentially a screen over top of a fan, and you put your fiddles in it and kind of agitate them a little bit, and the paper's dry here, so it just comes flying off. Like I said, these are the exception, not the rule, because I didn't have time to process them. We got home late last night. Oops, that's typically how it goes in the spring. But that's the extent of it right there. Now you want to get your fiddleheads and wash them up really good. I like to Put them in a sink or in a bowl of water and just kind of agitate them. You'll see all the stuff come floating off and settle. Then I'll take them back out and put them through that colander and rinse them really good. So agitate them for a little bit. Try and get as much of that little paper stuff off and any dirt, and make sure there's no bugs in there. Give them a good wash, and then again a good rinse, and then we're going to blanch them. Got ramps that we picked yesterday as well. I've already cleaned those up, cut the tips off and peel off some of the dirt and whatnot. I'm drying them out a little bit. Some of those are going to go in dinner tonight, which is we're going to make a what we call our spring stir fry. It has asparagus, fiddleheads, ramps, morel mushrooms, and venison tenderloin with some Montreal steak seasoning and a couple other goodies. Maybe I'll get that on here later. And then the rest of this stuff are going to be dried up a little bit and vacuum sealed. And those ramps will be dehydrated and crumbled up and used for seasoning on my roasts and stuff. Time to blanch. You don't want to eat these raw. They need to be blanched. I'm going to put them in here. And once the water comes back to the boil, I'll give it 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'll pull them out and put them in cold water, typical blanching. You want to cook them some. It'll get some of the tannins out, and you'll see the water will turn a little different color. Then after that, if you're going to eat them, you can boil them longer, they say. So I've been reading roughly 10 minutes total time cooked. Boiling away. Timer is set, and you can already see the color of that water is changing. So stir them around a little bit, make sure everybody's even. I don't know if you should do this many at a time or not. It's worked for me every time, and normally we don't get this many. So this year we're going to have some to eat, and we're going to have some extras frozen. So when that timer goes off in a couple minutes, I'm going to spoon those out of there, strain them out of there, put them in this bowl of cold water here to stop the boiling. Then I'm going to dry them up. Lay them out on some paper towel or something just to get some of the moisture out before I freeze them. I always want to try and get as much of that moisture out so you don't get freezer burn. Timer just went. I'm going to strain these a little bit. You can see there's still a little bit of that fabricy, papery stuff in there. I'm going to rinse them one more time, and usually that's where I get most of that out. But you want to drain it pretty good here. Get it in that cool water, and I'm going to get some more cool water on it. You see how dark that water is? That's tannins. That's bad stuff anyway, so. Drain it a little bit. Cool them off. They smell good. They have the flavor like an asparagus and a broccoli cross. Rinsed them good under the faucet for a couple minutes. Make sure they're nice and clean, and then spread them out on a paper towel. And spread them out as much as you can here. And then I took another section of paper towel and I pat the top and just kind of put my hand on there and let it soak up the moisture. And now your fiddleheads are ready to go. You can either freeze them, which like I said I'm going to do with the bulk of these, or you can cook them. Make sure you cook them thoroughly. Normally people take and fry them in a pan with some butter, a little garlic powder, and some lemon, just real slight amount of lemon, and they're fantastic. Just cook them well and enjoy. That's fiddleheads, at least harvest cleaning. I'll try and show you maybe a little bit more when we make it in our stir fry. Enjoy. So I gotta pull that asparagus out and get it in here. So we've got our venison in here, fiddleheads, ramps, morels, a little bit of seasoning going on here. We're stir frying this up. We're going to throw it over rice. She's adding, yeah, she's adding a ton of asparagus. natural steak seasoning. A couple other things I already put in there. Now we just keep the heat up here and do it to it. That venison will be medium. Make sure our fiddles and morels are done. Dry this mixture out a little bit for a little moisture. But that'll be it. Spring stir fry. Morel mushrooms, fiddleheads. We got asparagus, ramps are mixed in there, a little garlic, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get to eat. You're gonna show me with my big old mouth.
It's dark, so there you go.